In 1920s, Mahatma Gandhi ignored Jinnah to make a common cause with the mullahs to start his non-cooperation movement against the British. In 1930, Jinnah was again ignored by Nehru when Jinnah was interested in making a coalition government. Nehru arrogantly denied Jinnah. He mistakenly assumed that the Muslim masses would follow his socialist policies rather than following Muslim League, which was a completely religious party. Jinnah was once known as the ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity. He was a practitioner of constitutional politics. But after such refusals, he rebranded himself as a defender of Islam and defenders of Muslims in South Asia. Even though in his personal life he was anything but Muslim. He could neither read Urdu, which he tried to promote in Pakistan and present Bangladesh as a unifying language of the Muslim people. He himself could not read Urdu. He could not read Quran. He never read Quran. He could not even pray. The story goes that after independence, after the partition, when Jinnah had to perform his first public prayers, he had company of one of his ministers. He asked his minister, "How do you pray?" His minister was shocked to hear that Jinnah didn't know how to pray. His minister said, "Just follow what I do and don't tell anyone that you can't pray." Can you imagine? The champion of Muslims in South Asia does not even know how to pray in the Muslim way. So the entire thing Jinnah did from 1930 to 1948 was just a facade, an act which he put up. Jinnah also loved his single malt whiskey and he loved his pork ham sandwich. So he was anything but Muslim in his personal life. But the religious passion Jinnah started to stroke in the late 1930s eventually led to the Direct Action Day in 1946, killing 10,000 people in the Great Calcutta Killings, and Partition of India, which killed over 2 million people, displacing over 20 million people, rendering them homeless. The British also loved the communal tension in India. In 1925, the Secretary of the State for India wrote the Viceroy, and I quote, "I have always placed my highest hopes upon the eternity of the communal situation," which means they relied on the communal tension in India for the continuity of the British Raj. So it was the short-sightedness of Congress, including Mahatma Gandhi. It was the ambition of Jinnah to etch his name in the history, and an immoral and unethical policy of the British government. They all played their part in partition of India. Coming to Muslim League in late 1927 had merely 1,300 members in the entire party. By 1944, Muslim League had 500,000 members just in the province of Bengal and 200,000 members in Punjab. All types of Muslims, be it artisans, peasants, professionals, businessmen, they all flocked towards Muslim League. They mobilized under the call that Islam is in danger and the threat that you have to live under a Brahmin Banya Raj after independence. Now in modern electoral politics, there are two ways of demanding votes. First is that you appeal to the popular hopes and aspirations of the people, their aspiration for economic prosperity and social justice. The second way is to appeal to the fear of the people that they might be harmed and swamped by the majority or their historical enemy. In 1946 provincial election, Congress used the first rhetoric, the rhetoric of social progress, economic prosperity. They promised land reform, worker rights and social development program. Whereas Muslim League relied on the second rhetoric, that is fear, that if they don't get a separate homeland, they will be crushed under the numerous Hindu population and Hindu Raj. A clear choice was given to the Muslim voters by the Muslim League cadre workers. Either choose Ram Raj or an independent Islamic state and Muslim country. In Punjab, posters were put up in which people were asked to choose between Deen, which is faith, versus Dunya, which is world, and Hadkoshi, which is righteousness, versus Safed Poshi, which is office. The League also urged the Muslims to forget their sectarian differences and unite under one single umbrella of Islam, to unite under a single Qaum. The student volunteers of Muslim League also played a vital role. They took the messages house to house, gathering each and every vote from the Muslim households. As a result, Muslim League did much better than expected. They got 114 seats out of 119 Muslim seats in West Bengal. They got 54 seats out of 66 Muslim seats from UP. And the wonder was Madras presidency, where they won all of the 29 Muslim seats. Now this extraordinary result boosted Jinnah's confidence. He was confident enough to boast himself as the sole representative and speaker of the Muslims of the subcontinent. Muslim League's newspaper, Dawn, which still runs in Pakistan, urged all the 400 winning candidates that their sole purpose in the legislature will be to win Pakistan. 29th July 1946, Jinnah called a meeting of all the winning Muslim League candidates and resolved to direct action for winning the partition of Pakistan. And exactly 2 weeks later, that is 16th August 1946, there was direct action in Calcutta, which led to the death of 10,000 people in Calcutta. This was the beginning of the end of the dream of united India. Now, what were the British doing all this time? 20th February 1947, the Labour Party government in London announced that they would be leaving India by June 1948. March 22nd, they replaced Lord Wavell by Lord Mountbatten, who will be the next Viceroy and the last Viceroy of India. Gandhi made a last-ditch effort to save the unity of India by offering Jinnah to be the head of the government of Free India. Congress did not support Gandhi's offer, neither did Jinnah was very interested in his offer. But at one stage, Jinnah was brazen enough to ask an 800-mile long corridor cutting across India and connecting West Pakistan to East Pakistan. 3rd June, Mountbatten announced in All India Radio that India will be partitioned. And 4th June, in a press conference, he said that instead of June 1948, the Britishers will leave in mid-August 1947, which leaves only 10 weeks for the Britishers to pack up. Now, Mountbatten had a biographer called Philip Ziegler. Philip Ziegler later confessed that it was only Mountbatten who decided of preponing the departure of the British. Otherwise, there was nobody in the entire British government who wanted to leave so early. It was only Mountbatten's plan to leave an year early. Famous British historian Andrew Roberts accused Mountbatten of severe incompetence and accused him for the death of 2 million Indians. Mountbatten was unwilling to check the communal violence. He deliberately understaffed the Punjab boundary force, and he also refused any air cover. Roberts was convinced that it was the over-hasty withdrawal of Mountbatten which led to so many deaths. Even the last governor of United Punjab, Sir Evan Jenkins, also wrote multiple letters to Mountbatten to reconsider his decision. He was convinced that an empire which has been built over 2 centuries cannot be uprooted in a matter of 2 months. Jenkins kept asking Mountbatten for more troops. The troops were already less, and whatever troops were there were put into the service of the protection of the British rulers. Sir Cyril Ratcliffe was ready with the boundary plan by 9th August, but Mountbatten chose to publish the boundary plan only after 15th August. The explanation was simple. The earlier it was published, the more British have to take the responsibility for the disturbances. Eventually, it was 17th August 1947 when the boundary plan was made public, which led to the massacre of 2 million people. The British were quite fair with India. They left India in the same condition of chaos as it found it 200 years ago.